Today we're going to be doing daf of test of Tamid, לעילוי, נשמת, מרדכי, שמעון, Berger, Mנחem. We covered the 10th yard site, so very interesting stuff going on in today's daf. So the Mishnah said, we're starting from the Gemara in the middle of Tamid Aleph. The Mishnah said that they would have to take off the ashes from the Mizbeach, and every morning they would pile up the ashes into the middle. It's called a tapuach, like an apple. Like it looks like a big lump of a big apple on the Mizbeach. And the Mishnah says that there was 300 kir of ashes sometimes on the Mizbeach. So the Gemara starts off, Amar Rava Guzma, that Rava says this 300 kir is an exaggeration. It's an exorbitant amount. Each kir is 30 sela, and it would be close to 1,500 square feet of ashes. So Rava says obviously this is an exaggeration. And Rava says another place where the Mishnah exaggerates, Hishku as a Tamid b'keshel zahav, that they would give every day the carbon Tamid, they would shach the carbon Tamid, and in order to make it easier to skin the carbon, they would give it to drink some water before, to skin the animal after easier. So the Mishnah says that they would give it to drink in a golden cup. So Amar Rava Guzma, it doesn't really mean a golden cup, it's an exaggeration, it means a very shiny copper cup. Amar Rabbi, Rabbi Ami said a few more places where the Torah and speaks in exaggeration. The Dibra Torah Lashon Havai, that the Torah speaks Lashon Havai, speaks in an exaggerated way. Dibra Nevi'im Lashon Havai, the Nevi'im speak in an exaggerated way, and Dibra Chachamim Lashon Havai, the Chachamim also speak in an exaggerated way, and we're going to bring it's referring to three specific instances which we're going to bring. So number one, Dibra Torah Lashon Havai. The Torah speaks in an exaggerated way. Where does it speak in an exaggerated way in Torah? Arim Gedolos B'Suras B'Shemayim, that the spies, when they came back from Eretz Yisrael, they told the Yidden that there are massive cities fortified in the heavens. So, B'Shamayim Sakadaitach, do you really think that the cities actually went and reached to the heavens? Ella Guzma, must be that it's exaggeration. The second case, Dibra Chacham Lashon Havai, the second where the Chachamim say Lashon Havai, speaking in exaggeration. Had Amran, this that we said, Tapuach, the case of the apple of ashes that was on the Mizbeach, we said it was 300 kir, it wasn't really 300 kir. That's where in the Mishnah. In other cases where we said that they would give the Tamid to drink in a golden cup. And the third thing, Dibru Nevi'im Lashon Havai, where the Nevi'im spoke in exaggeration, the Chsiv, V'ha'am Mechalalim B'Gimer, V'tivaka Ha'aretz B'Kolam, that when David HaMelech said to anoint Shlema, they made a big party, and the party was so loud, and people were playing flutes, and it was so loud that it says in Navi that the ground split. So it doesn't actually mean the ground split, it just means it was a big, loud party. Rabbi Yanai bar Nachmani Amar Shmuel. Rabbi Yanai bar Nachmani said in Shmuel, that three places in Mishnayos it speaks Lashon Havai. It says uses exaggerated language. And these are the three cases. Number one, Tapuach, the Mishnah regarding the ashes on the Mizbeach. Gefen, a Mishnah about the grapevine, which we're going to say later. Upereiches, and the Mishnah regarding the curtain in the Beis HaMikdash, or in the Beis HaMikdash. It speaks exaggeratedly, as will be explained. So, La Puki Midarava, and Rabbi Yanai bar Nachmani saying that Shmuel is actually arguing with what Rava said, that the Tanan, B'Hishku as the Tamid B'Kei Rava said another case, a fourth case, where the Chachamim speak Lashon Havai, exaggerated away, that they would drink the animal in a golden cup, and Yanei Mordechai or Shmuel is not bringing that. So Rava says over there that it's exaggeration. Kamash Malon. So Rabbi Yanei Mordechai is teaching us that that these three that Rabbi Yanei Mordechai are saying are exaggerations. But Hassam over there, like that case of giving the Tamid a golden cup to drink is actually not exaggeration. Why? Because there's a rule that we don't go poor, we don't be pocket pinching when there's ashiros. And in the Beis Hamikdash there was ashiros, so we gave it to drink in a golden cup, and it's not exaggeration. So tapuach. So now we're going to go through each of these three cases that Rabbi Yanei Mordechai said are exaggerations in the Mishnayos, and we're going to explain each one. Tapuach ad Amr. Tapuach is what we said before in our Mishnah regarding the mound of ashes on the Mizbeach. Gefen Detnan. The one with the grapevine is the following Mishnah. Gefen Zahav Hoysay Melis Al Pesach Eichel. It was a golden grapevine by the Heichel in the Beis Hamikdash. Umudla al Gabi Klunasis, and it was spread or suspended on top of poles. And anyone that wanted to donate a golden leaf to the Beis Hamikdash, a Berger, a Eshkol, or a grape, or a cluster, maybe the Telaba would come and he would hang it, he would have it hung on this golden grapevine. Amar Elazar Rabbi Tzaddik, Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Tzaddik, said, that it was a story that they counted, they needed to move this grapevine, and they counted that there was 300 koyanim needed to move the grapevine. So there needed to be 300 koyanim is an exaggeration. There didn't need to be that many koyanim. Horiches, and the third exaggeration that Rabbi Yanei Mordechai says is the Tanan. The following Mishnah. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Aimer Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Haskan. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says in the name of Rabbi Shimon Haskan, Pareiches Avya Tefach. In the Beis Hamikdash, the Pareiches between the Kodesh and the Kodesh HaKadoshim was a Tefach thick. And Al Shivim Ushnaim Nimin Eregas. It was woven with 72 nimin, which is strings or the tools that it was made to use. And every single string had 24 strands. Arka Arbaim Amma V'Rachba Esim Amma. It's 40 amas wide, and it was 20 amas. No, it was 40 amas long, and it was 20 amas wide. It was made of 820,000 golden dinars. And every year, because of the smoke of the Keteres, it would become black, and they would need to make 2 every single year to keep on replacing it. And the final thing that it says is what is the exaggeration. And it required 300 koyanim to, if it became tamid, they would need to tovel it. They would need 300 koyanim involved in the process to lift it up and to bring it to tovel it. That's how big it was. So that's the guzma. That's the exaggeration. Next part of the Mishnah, it said in the Mishnah that Hichilu Malin B'Gzirin V'Sadis Amarcha V'Chulu, that Chutz Mishel Zayis V'Shel Gefen V'Chulu, that the Kohanim would bring up the logs for the Mizbeach, and you're allowed to use any type of wood besides for olive tree wood, and grapevine. Honey, my time. So the Gemara wonders, why are you not allowed to use these just grapevines and olive tree wood for on the Mizbeach? So it can be two opinions. Papa says because in these types of woods there's knots, and these knots make it that it stays moist, it doesn't dry, and when you light it, it's going to produce a lot of smoke. So katri has a double meaning. It means it's knotted like a kesher, and kateres like it has smoke. It doesn't burn well. That's why we don't use it. Bar Yaakov said we shouldn't use Eretz Yisrael because we want Eretz Yisrael to be settled and populated, and we don't want all the olive trees and the grapevines to be cut down for firewood. So the Gemara goes on to ask, Meisvei, Ala Itzim Asher Ala Ish. So we're quoting a Brisa that quotes a pasuk. The pasuk says that you burn the karbanes on the wood that's on the fire. So what do we learn from that? It's comparing the wood to the fire. That you have to use a type of wood that melts to be fired, meaning it burns really, really well, and the wood kind of transforms into fire. Umayinu, what kind of wood is good for using for fire? Dukri shapiri, fine logs. Deloi katri, ba'azli miktar mitechei, that do not have knots that are inside the log. Kol ha'itzim kshem l'ma'aracha, are all wood good to use for the Mizbeach? Hein, yes, kol eitzim ksherim. All wood is kosher. Chutz min zayis v'gefen, besides for olive tree and grapevine. Al be'elu ha'iragilin, but the following ones are the types of wood that they were usually used on the Mizbeach. Number one, the morbius shal te'ena, branches of fig tree, shal egois, walnut tree, a shemen, a type of tree. Some people will say that means balsam oil tree, or a tree that burns good like oil. That's all the Tanakama. So Tanakama says that the pasuk teaches us you have to use good wood that turns into fire. Well, and that's all wood besides for grapevine and olive tree. And he mentions a few that they used to use often. Rabbi Eliezer adds that they would actually use there's 5 more types of wood that is puzzle to use for the Mizbeach. Shal mayish, it's called mayish, which we don't know what that is. Shal alon, which is oak tree. Shal dekel, and date tree. Shal charov, a carob tree. Shal shikma, and sycamore tree. All these, according to Eliezer, are not allowed. The bishlam l'madamar shavikati. So we have two opinions. Why are they not allowed? Either because it has knots, it doesn't burn well, or because Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, we want Eretz Yisrael to have a lot of these olive and grape trees. So it makes sense. So we're spelling out the question. If you say the reason why you're not allowed to use olive and grape trees is because it has knots, so then it makes sense that this machlekes between the Tanakama and Rabbi Eliezer. This is what they're arguing about. The Marsavar, one holds, so that's Rabbi Eliezer, who adds the 5 types of wood that you're not allowed to use that's because the knots, it doesn't have knots on the inside, but these 5 woods have knots on the outside. And that disqualifies it from being used on the Mizbeach. Umar Savar, Kivon, the Loi Kotri, the Rabbi, Afal Gabdit, the Barai Kotri, Maisina. But the Tanakhama holds that no, since they are not knotted on the inside, even though they are knotted on the outside, these 5 types of woods, they're kosher to bring. So that's machlekes regarding these 5 extra ones. Could you bring them? Could you not? That doesn't need to be knotted from both the inside and the outside, or just the outside makes it disqualified. But that's it. If you say, according to Rav Papa, that the reason is that it has knots. But according to the second opinion of Rabbi Yaakov, that says the reason we can't bring, the reason why certain wood is disqualified is not because of knots, it's because of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. So dekel, mi less bei mishum Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, the Tanakhama should agree that dekel is also disqualified. That because dekel is a date tree, a palm tree, which gives dates. So why does the Tanakhama not agree that a date tree is invalid as well? Because we want there to be more date trees in Eretz Yisrael. So the answer is Amar Lach, Rabbi Yaakov will tell you L'tamich, according to your reasoning, Te'ena less ba mishum Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. That so also a fig tree should also not be able to use. But we have said that they were regilin, they would bring from date trees. Ela mai islachal meimai. So what do you have to say? You have to say that what would they use? They would use a fig tree that doesn't give fruit, and therefore there's no problem cutting it down, because there's no problem of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael with trees that don't give fruit. So dekel nami b'dloi avid pera, and so also dekel. The Tanakhama will say that it's okay to use when it doesn't give fruit. But is there such a thing? Is there so many fig trees that don't give fruit? Meaning, most fig trees give fruit. So why are we saying that they were regilin to bring fig trees? Seemingly, it would be a problem to use fig trees because most fig trees do give fruit. We say yes, actually, there are many fig trees that don't give fruit. Kiddur Rechava. Like we see from what Rechava said. What Rechava said? Maisi te'eni chivrata. That there was a time when they brought white fig trees, and they rubbed it with ropes made from bark, that would make the seeds to fall out and the covering. And then they took this bark, they took the tree without the seeds and buried them. So when the ocean would come to flow over, these trees would grow, and they would make nice, good, thick boards. But they wouldn't produce fruit because they kind of like took out the seeds for the fruit from the tree. 3 of these trees were so large that that a bridge would not be able to support them. So we see from here that they somehow made the trees in a way that they were not able, the fig trees, white fig trees, that they were not able to give fruit. So there were many of these trees. That's why they were regilling to bring. They were accustomed to bringing these fig trees for the Mizbeach, and it was no problem of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. The last part. The Mishnah said that they would arrange the wood of the Mizbeach the middle big bonfire for the karbanos, and the Mishnah said that there would be a type of window facing eastwards. So either that means that there was like some space over there was like a window type shape, or more simply you could say that there was just spaces in between the logs, and it was just open space, and that's what it calls a window. So my time, why did they make this window facing east in the bonfire? So Rav Huna Rav Chisda, it's machlekes between Rav Huna and Rav Chisda. One says that in order that the wind should be able to blow through these spaces and fan the fire. Another opinion is that they should be able to light small little pieces of wood and put them in between the cracks in order to make the bonfire light fire. Meisvei, question this opinion. There was already a space between the rows of the logs, and they would light the chips, the little pieces of wood from there. So why do we need to make this special extra space besides for this space the revach that was between the gzirin? And Amar Lach, the second opinion will tell you that they made many places for lighting these little pieces of wood. There was two different places. There was they made the window, the space between the logs, and then even between the rows of the logs, they also made more space to light more wood. Hazallah,